Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Gio, and welcome to the final chapter of From a Stranger. We left off with Danny's dad waking in the hospital from a heart attack. Ilio had rushed from Hawaii to stand by Danny. Danny and Ilio barely have a chance to reconnect when the moment Danny has been dreading all his life suddenly arrives. He has to tell his family he's gay. He's terrified of his family because he isn't like any of them. And now, let's begin the final chapter of From a Stranger. Chapter 28. Danny. The moment I had dreaded for my entire life was here. Surprisingly, no one seemed to notice that my heart was racing faster than the luau's drums, or that my armpits were dripping, or that my knees were shaking. I don't think I can go through with it. When I tried years ago, or the time after that, I chickened out. Somebody's gone native, Melissa, David's wife, said, and she held my arms out before giving me a hug. She touched the ring around my neck and looked at me again. Her eyes widened, and she stared at me a moment. She saw Ilio by Dad, noticed the same simple necklace and ring about his neck. Melissa noticed everything. She glanced back at me, noticing the rainbow anklet. There were tears in her eyes, and she hugged me. "You found someone, didn't you?" she whispered. "I did," I whispered back. "I don't know how to tell anybody, though." She squeezed my hand and said, "Just remember, you're with family." And that's what terrified me. How do I tell them I'm gay? How do I tell them that Ilio proposed? Derek grabbed me behind the back and lifted me up, and up, and up, and turned me around so I faced him. He's that much bigger than I am. "That stuff on the floor. Where did you learn that, baby bro?" he said in his really deep voice. "It's yoga, barn door, and a few other things," I said. Derek set me down. "Is that your surfboard, mister?" Amy said. "My little niece, David and Melissa's child." "That's Danny's. He made it," Ilio said. "Uncle Danny made a surfboard? Is he a surfer? Are you a surfer?" Amy asked. David turned from speaking to Dad to me. "Danny?" Oh God, the moment was here. I couldn't hide anymore. Look at the size of my brothers. If they got mad, I wouldn't stand a chance. They had every right to get mad, because I had kept this from them. Would they even want me around? Was I about to lose my family? Why is this so hard? "I guess it's time for some introductions," I said, taking a deep breath to calm my nerves. "Hi, I'm Danny. Used to be Daniel. Nice to meet you. The lady by the bed is Tiffany. She's the caterer from last week's disaster, and she has been seeing Dad for lunch." "Nice to meet all of you," Tiffany said. "They would kick me out of the family. They would scream, and the doctors would kick us out of the hospital. How can my brothers understand me? I'm so different. I had to do this, though." I looked at Ilio. I'm glad he's here. I walked over to Ilio and took his hand. "This is Ilio, my boyfriend." "Boyfriend?" Charlotte said. Derek folded his massive arms and stared at me. David lowered his head, his expression unreadable. I was ruining my life. What would they think of me? "I should have told you I was gay years ago, and then maybe last weekend wouldn't have happened," I said. I swallowed, not sure what to say. Ilio squeezed my hand. "Maybe a lot of things would have been different." Somehow, I expected somebody to say something. But it was quiet. Derek's mouth opened as if he wanted to say something, then closed it. I had disappointed him. My worst fear. It couldn't get worse, could it? I dove in, but I couldn't look at them, and my voice was soft because I was afraid they would hear me. My stomach warbled and my legs shook. I sniffed, holding back the tears as best I could. It took me all through high school to work up the courage to finally tell Dad, and I guess it took the last 4 years to do the same so I could tell you. The reason I didn't say anything was because I didn't want to disappoint you. I've always been the different one. The kids used to tease me about being adopted or saying Mom had an affair. So I tried to be like you guys, and we know that failed every time. I couldn't compete with you. I tried everything you guys did, and that failed. I even hoped marrying Ashley would make me be like you, and we saw how that turned out. The terror made my heart race, my face burned, and I wiped away another tear. I took a breath and wiped my eyes again with the back of my hand. It took me a long time to finally accept that I can't ever be like you. I run and do yoga because I don't have to compete. Every time I try, I always lose. So I never said anything because I didn't want you to be disappointed or embarrassed that the little runt is your brother. So here I am, as different from you guys as anybody can be. Your little gay brother. Ilio wrapped an arm around me, and Dad reached a hand over and took mine. Nobody said anything. Somebody, say something. Anything, please. Derek whispered something to his wife, Charlotte, and glanced at me. David took a deep breath, but still said nothing. Oh God, how can anything be so tense? Melissa held Amy in front of her and nodded, slightly smiling. Uncle Danny, can I have a ride on your surfboard? Amy said. It's for the wall, Ilio said. My friend Billy has already promised Danny that he'll help him build a real one when he comes back to Honolulu. Why won't David and Derek say something? Had I embarrassed them? No, I was the embarrassment. Why did I think telling them was a good idea? Don't be mad with me. I wanted some kind of acceptance. I held my breath. You say you can't compete. Do you think either of us can do what you just did? David said. You balanced on one hand, and you would probably still be doing it if we hadn't shown up. So you're a surfer, Derek said. Making your own board, living in Hawaii. Teaches yoga to Stacy Colwyn, Ilio said. Is in love with a fire dancer, swims with dolphins. By the way, Lynette wants to hire you to continue sunrise yoga. And he is probably the only beach accountant in the world. You should see the 1-year-old girl we're adopting. They're not mad? Dad gave my hand a squeeze and whispered, I told you that you could trust them. Ilio is a fire dancer? Charlotte said. You know Stacy Colwyn? Melissa said. You two are adopting? Derek said. I want to swim with dolphins, Amy said. I'll have a cousin? David turned to Derek. We go to Tahoe for a week and look what happens. Our baby bro grows up. Derek cracked his knuckles and stepped towards me. You know we love you, no matter what happens. You should have told us you were gay years ago, because finding out right now, like this, makes me... I took a step back. Derek, calm down. Ilio, welcome to the family. But if Danny ever does something to irritate you, like maybe forgetting to mention a little tiny secret thing, I don't know, like not telling you something dramatically important, Derek said, and darted towards me and picked me up and up and up. David, we haven't done this for years, but baby bro deserves it. Derek, don't do this. David, stop, please. I squirmed because I know what's coming next. Then I laughed because there is nothing else I can do. Ilio, plug your ears. Don't listen. Derek smiled an evil grin that I remember all too well. Ilio, your boyfriend is insanely ticklish on the back of his calves. Too late, babe, I heard. David, need some help? Ilio said. I'm on the floor a minute later, struggling to catch my breath. Good chances I deserved it, because years ago, I sort of, snuck up on Derek when he was asleep on the couch and gave him the strongest nipple twister a 15-year-old could give. Derek always swore he'd get even someday. Pulling me back to my feet, Derek became serious. We might not be as close as we were when we were kids, but we are still family. I love you, baby bro. Always will. Even if Amy has stuffed animals bigger than you. Ilio reached into his duffel and pulled out the surf bear. That was the one Noah carried, I think. Danny, I brought this along because I thought you'd get as big a laugh out of it as Billy did, Ilio said, and handed the bear to Amy. I think your niece needs it more. Ilio. I'm already Uncle Ilio. Danny does have a nice family, though they talk about football all the time. My family talks about surfing and soccer. His talks about football. While Dallas and Tiffany stayed in the room, the rest of us went down to the cafeteria and got to know each other. Or more specifically, they get to know me. Danny showed them all the videos he took of me at the luau, tossing the baton. He showed them all the videos he took of Stacy/Mia. We don't let on what her real name is, or that we have her private number. There's an overlook about 30 minutes out from the butte, and Danny took me there when we left the hospital. It's insanely private, the butte insanely dark as the sun descended, and the horizon goes on forever. As the sun set, the sky divided into bands of color, navy, indigo, a thin band of green, crimson, orange, and then a hint of yellow as the sun disappeared. I think Nevada and Hawaii are going to have to fight each other over who has the best sunsets, I said. And Danny wrapped his arm around me. I never noticed before, but you might be right. Thanks for being with me this afternoon, Danny said. We leaned into each other, intertwined our fingers together, and watched as the sky turned crimson before it faded to a dark gold. Do you think I could ask your mom a favor? Danny asked, his face very serious. Probably. To be clear, what favor are we talking about? I think I already know, but I make that needed to hear Danny say it. Would she let me stay over until you and I can find a place? Danny said, and glanced up at me, biting his lip. I guess what I'm asking is, can I be your roommate? That depends. Will you steal all the blankets? I said. You'll have to tell me, Danny said. I will need help with our daughter, I said. When do you pick Peaches up? When we get back, I said, and realized what I had just said. That is, if you'll come back with me. Only if you teach me how to surf, babe. Then I want back rubs, deep massage kind like you did the other night, I said. We kissed under the infinite Nevadan sunset sky. I love this man. Danny, a week later. It was easier to close up my life than I thought. Honolulu had a branch of my bank, so I didn't have to do anything there. Edwin didn't care where I worked, as long as I stopped by once or twice a year to take care of some paperwork. Lynette's job offer was serious, and I accepted. My car? There's a used car lot that bought it from me. My furniture? My landlord bought it to furnish some apartments. My apartment lease? It was only a couple of months until it expired. It was cheaper to pay it than to pay the cancel fees. Mrs. Smith said, "Come on over." We talked to Billy, and he had already found a place. What I needed fit into my duffel, my new suitcase, and my laptop bag. That's it. Ilio and I would leave for Hawaii tomorrow. Today, though, was moving day. All my family helped move my furniture down to where the landlord stored his extras. Xander came as well. He said he needed to help somehow, to make up for the problems he caused. Dad and Tiffany came over, but Dad sat on a bench in the shade. Tiffany sat by his side and held his hand. He brought Ashley's ring. I don't know what you can do with this. I don't think it will fit Ilio, and it's too ornamental anyway, Dad said. Ilio took the ring and tried it on. It would probably get lost in the surf anyway. He handed me the ring and I put it into my pocket. The one advantage of having Derek and David for brothers, they could lift anything. We finished moving my furniture in an hour. What didn't get taken by my landlord, the thrift store sent a truck for. Xander helped us with the furniture, but after we had finished, I walked over to him. I'm very sorry for what happened, Xander said. I should never have done it. You're not completely to blame, but we've already discussed it. Because of it, I met the man I really love. I came out, and I'm moving to Hawaii, I said. I know, but I think I understand, and I want you to know that I forgive you, I said. He didn't say anything, just hugged me. Ilio came over. He must have heard what I had said because he hugged both of us. I don't know if my family understood, but they didn't make an issue of it. Charlotte walked over to us. Company. She nodded to the parking lot, and her eyes narrowed as much as they did at the wedding disaster. I turned and looked. We all did. Ashley climbed out of the car with a girl I recognized as having been one of her bridesmaids. Is that Ashley? Ilio asked, taking my hand. It is. Xander, why is she here? David said. Don't look at me. She dumped me a week ago, Xander said. Derek came over and stood by Charlotte. What's she doing here? None of us know, Ilio said. My family had sort of accepted Xander, mainly because I did, but they hadn't accepted Ashley. I had told them how it had affected Xander. They at least understood that, and that Xander had tried to make amends. Ashley hadn't. As Ashley approached, I remembered her the last time I had seen her. She had worn her custom wedding dress and looked beautiful. I squeezed Ilio's hand. The pain of the wedding disaster came back, and then it hit me. After today, I would never see her again. Everybody had already accepted me, and they loved me. I couldn't compete. I wasn't big. I couldn't play sports, and I was gay. None of that mattered. My family still loved me. Thank you guys for accepting me, I said. Derek grunted. You still have to show me how you did those handstand push-ups. Staring at all of us, Ashley stepped towards us and noticed Xander. Xander only nodded at her. What do you want, Ashley? I said. I want the ring, Daniel. It's mine. You gave it to me, she said. You gave it back, David said. Why do you want it? Are you getting married? Xander said. Just give me the ring, Ashley said. Sure, I said, and pulled out my phone. It took a moment to bring up the right screen. As soon as you pay for it, here's the price. I showed her the invoice. You expect me to pay that much? She said. You have expensive tastes. If you want the ring, you'll buy it. Otherwise, Ilio, I was thinking of dropping it in the ocean with Timmy's ashes. Do you think you'd like that? I said. It makes sense, Melissa yelled. We all stared at my sister-in-law. What do you mean, babe? David said. My family knew about the game, and they enjoyed it as much as me and Ilio. Yes, Melissa kissed him. She must be pregnant and wants a quick wedding, Melissa said. So who's the dad? Ashley glared at us. Don't look at me, I said. I'm gay. Don't look at me either, Xander said. I had the big V a year ago. V, as in vasectomy. Charlotte gave a little snort. Melissa, how do you always call these things? Too much TV, Melissa said. I'm sorry, Xander. I misjudged you, Derek said. I guess you and Danny have the same problem. She cheated on both of you. July 7th, Ilio. Danny finally had something hanging in his old house. The skimboard got the place of honor in the dining room. I wish we hadn't left it in Nevada, but we had pictures of it. It wouldn't be long before Danny made his own surfboard anyway. Ashley found the money for the ring, so Timmy didn't get one after all. Derek, Charlotte, David, Melissa, and Amy saw us off at the Vegas airport. I still couldn't believe how big Derek was, especially when Danny stood next to him. I don't think that if you added up both me and Danny's weight, we would even come close to what Derek weighed. Sometime last night, Derek got out some calipers and did some measurements. Of the three brothers, Danny had the lowest body fat percentage. Danny finally won against them. We disembarked in Honolulu and left the terminal. My family greeted us, as well as Barney and Billy. The girls had made a sign, "Welcome home, Danny." They cheered when they saw us. "Shiori is already at the beach. You ready to go surfing? I've got the boards in back," Billy said. Danny turned to me and gave my hand a quick squeeze. "I'm in board shorts. Let's go." 1 year later, Ilio. The Hawaiian sunrise never disappoints. A golden sky with silver clouds made magical by the slight mist in the air. We stood on the beach, wearing rented tuxes. It was a wedding, but not ours. That had been 6 months ago, to the day we stepped off the plane from Vegas. No, this wedding wasn't ours, but it was just like it. A dawn ceremony on the beach outside of the Monarch Imperial. This wedding wasn't ours, but it was just as special. Derek, David, Danny, and I were all the best men at Dallas and Tiffany's ceremony. Danny held my hand, the ring now on the ring finger, and stepped closer. "I love you," he whispered. It would have been a small ceremony, just Dallas's family and Tiffany's, but my family wouldn't hear of it. Everybody came, until the wedding had become one huge party, Hawaiian style. Amy sat in the front row with her little cousin, Peaches. She called our dog her cousin, and Peaches didn't mind all the attention. Johnny had a camera set up and streamed the ceremony live for the people back in Nevada. The ceremony broke up, and while we waited for the brunch luau to start, some of us went surfing. Billy wowed the guests as he climbed on his board, and he and Shori took off. Danny took Derek on his new wooden surfboard. He had finished it just a couple months ago. I took David on mine. Danny didn't need the vest any longer. Hadn't needed it since before our wedding. Because of yoga, he was already strong. He just needed to learn how to swim. He can hold his own out in the water. Derek and David needed vests, even though they could swim. They weren't strong like Danny or Billy, and they burned as easily as Danny did a year ago. Lynette and Barney and Chancey and Mauricio and many others joined us out on the surf. And Al and Mia as well. She can surf, but she stayed near Al. They came to our wedding. In fact, we have a standing date to visit each other every 6 months or so. Danny lined up with the wave and got ready to ride. Of course, he and Derek spilled sideways, screaming like idiots. Derek had trouble learning how to balance on a board. A moment later, they surfaced, laughing. When in the water and only their heads stick out, Derek and Danny are the exact same size. David and I showed them how it's done as we caught a wave and surfed to shore. We headed back out for another round. Derek was still trying to get back on the board. Then Barney lined up with the wave and rode it to shore where his wife waited. There's one small piece of this story left. When you save somebody, you develop some inner need to make sure they are all right. It happened with me and Danny and turned into love. With Barney, he came to the hospital every week to make sure me and Billy recovered. We stayed in touch, and sometime much later, when I was able to walk, he helped me get the job at the Monarch. In some ways, he's the father I wish I had known the last few years. Derek finally laid on the board, and Danny paddled over to me. "Hey, babe." Yes, there was a kiss. Yes, we still play the game. And yes, we always will. Race you to the beach, I said. The end. Thank you for listening, friends. I loved writing this novel and fell in love with Ilio and Danny and Billy and everybody else. Ending the book made me really sad because these characters became real and I didn't want to let them go. Johnny made an appearance in a future project, Sticky Situation, and the Monarch Imperial shows up from time to time in other stories. Yes, most of my stories take place in the same universe. Thanks for making it to the end. Peace.